Welcome to Gracefully Imperfect, a podcast for the all-encompassing Black man, the professional, the entrepreneur, the student, the family man, the father, and the everyday survivor. I'm your host, Semantic 7. And on this journey together, we will discuss all things related to fatherhood and parenting, morality and ethics, striving to become mentally healthy, our role within our households and our family, health and fitness, and I dare not to forget, there will be a lot of sharing of our personal developmental stories that have shaped us to who we are today. So let's go on this journey together and center our consciousness, relax our mind. Off we go to the depths below. Peace, love, blessings, and abundance to all of you. Hope everyone is having a blessed, wonderful, remarkable day. And I am extremely grateful that you have chosen this podcast out of the thousands on your listening platform. There's so many podcasts within the mental health and fitness realm, but you chose Gracefully Imperfect. And for that, I am grateful. I am also extremely grateful for the Creator, for the universe, for flowing through me and giving me the tools and the abilities and the right mindset to set up this platform for all of you and to continuously enrich me with the necessary tools and abilities and key ingredients to keep this thing going forward. I do not take an episode for granted. I do not take this platform for granted. I will continue to give each week my all, my heart, my everything. We have been talking extensively during this month of May about related concerns, issues, events, traumatic situations that coincide with keeping abreast of our mental health state, the impact on our mental health, and plausible and practical ways to reshape the narrative and reclaim our power and become more invested in our mental health state. So for today, on Poetic Prose Monday, I wanted to keep that alive. I wanted to add breath to the discussion about mental health. But I wanted to do it on the opposite spectrum of emotions and the emotional experience. We've been talking about disaster and chaos, stress, anxiety, depression, grief, and sorrow. So today I kind of wanted to switch it all up and share with you all a poem that I wrote during a very bittersweet moment. And I want to share that with all of you because I believe that it captures the true essence of love, joy, synergy, and cohesion. This poem is called 2 + 1 = together. You two make a whole, no matter the distance created from within or between. Love mitigates any quarrel. Love cures any disease, whether it's pathological or psychological, logical or illogical. Conditions will continually evolve and change. The foundation of unconditional support and love, intermixed with the resolve to anchor each other, can keep your legs turning in the mud, fortifying a resilient spirit of mutuality and reciprocity. So when life's disasters and troubles shake the grounded nature that keeps you anchored, always remember that you are stronger together to defend and protect each other in any problematic season or devastating weather. And that is 2 + 1 = together. When you guys listen to this poem, what stuck out to you? What resonated with your mind, with your body? Were there any particular memories, lived experiences, feelings that manifest, that resurfaced to the surface? I'm curious. Immediately as I started reciting this and the words are entrapped in my mind, I immediately started to think about the vulnerability of love, or I should say the vulnerability feature in love, and how sometimes love and commitment to someone can be oversimplified in a fairy tale or fantasy. And the reality to love doesn't always get highlighted, and if it does get highlighted, it gets diluted by fantasy, by fiction, by folklore. Especially when we're talking about cementing relationships within the Black community. Relationship building, love, joy, commitment, a cohesive spirit. It stems from struggle, sacrifice, willingness to do whatever it takes to not only just keep the relationship or sustain the relationship, but to fight for the relationship, to keep the relationship as good as new. So let me take you to the process of coming to 2 + 1 = together. Here I am, I'm sitting at the park. If you guys have paid attention to any of my other Poetic Prose Mondays, this is not the first time that I have wrote something in the park. I have learned that the park and watching human interaction, human disconnectedness or human connectedness, that gives you a great deal of insight about the human condition and the human experience. It opens up your mind because it gives you a play-by-play of what a fragmented part, or I should say a fractional part of the world is about. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could you possibly say that about children and youth playing in a park? And the reality is that children are in another world. Their own world isn't shaped by the forces that shape our world. Not all kids. There's a slither of children out there who've been forced to grow up extremely fast. They've been forced to look at the dangers and the threats of the world at a very early age. And so their perceptiveness and their perception of the world is quite different and quite heightened. But for those children and youth who doesn't have to grow up faster than expected, they don't have to accelerate their maturity. The park is a great representation of what it means to be wild, young, and free. And being wild, young, and free is something that we as adults tend to forget that is a critical component of enjoying, loving, and appreciating life. And so while I'm at this park and I'm watching all these children live up to the wild, young, and free aspect of life, I'm noticing a very, very, very strong indication of my children's connection and their ability to show up for one another. Now, my children are about 2.5 years old from each other. My boy is 9 and my daughter is 6. They are two peas in a pod. We teach them, my wife and I, we teach them that your siblings are your lifeline, are your friend, are your loved one, and at all costs that you protect each other and that you show each other compassion even when you are in conflict with one another. Just like this, it's so simplistic to show love, compassion, and enjoyment when you're out of conflict with one another. So watching my kids at this park, I noticed something very evident. they are cemented to each other in mind and spirit. No matter if my daughter was playing with other friends around her age group or classroom, or if my son was playing with anyone around his age group or classroom, they always found a way to come back to each other. Despite them being in the midst of playing whatever game or having whatever conversation with their own set of peers, they always came back to one another, showed each other love, whether if it was a hug or holding hands or them just laughing, and always looking to integrate each other into what they're doing. So watching this beautiful muse of connection and love and joy, I decided to take out my phone and capture this. A photographer in this moment would have taken some very, very beautiful pictures of what was taking place. Someone who does visual art would probably have taken out their sketch pad and drew this beautiful muse of love and connection. But I took out my notes app, and I wanted to capture this using my words. And as I watched them smile with each other, divert from each other's embrace and come back to each other, playing on the swing together, pushing each other, running around, chasing each other, seeing them get lost in the experience with one another. The words flowed abundantly. I needed no other frame of reference or inspiration to get these words out. And the main thing that I wanted to capture is not only the beautiful loving experience that was happening and unfolding before my eye. I wanted to capture how this translates into a transcending and impenetrable relationship. And there's one part of this poem that speaks the loudest about that transcending nature. And it's when I said the foundation of unconditional support and love intermixed with the resolve to anchor each other can keep your legs turning in the mud. And so right now, as they're happy, smiling, effervescent, full of life, that is the same connection, the same love, the same I'm here for you no matter what mentality that I hope that will translate into when the perils of life and the existential forces of extreme sadness, anxieties, fears, and the other layer to it, racism, discrimination, and implicit bias, when that starts to weigh on them, that they will still find a way to come back together and make each other smile and provide each other the compassion and the love that they did at this park as two school-age children. And that, to me, is what togetherness and cohesiveness and the concept of synergy truly means. Staying connected during those positive moments, but also finding ways to electrify and amplify that connection during those troubling, difficult, traumatic times. I want to thank you all for just listening and being here and sharing this space, honoring poetry. I believe that poetry imitates life. And I also believe that poetry provides the blueprint. It provides that blueprint that gives you the insight and the understanding about the hidden layers of the social world. And it also allows us to face our lived experiences head on and to see what we're supposed to learn from and grow from. I want to leave you all with a quote of the day. And this is an actual African proverb, so there's no name attached to it. It's based off of African principles, ethics, morals. And I want to share this with all of you because I believe that this particular proverb reverberates the message of embracing love, finding love, enhancing love, transcending love, and welcoming love from those that give you what you need and show up for you during times of need. The quote of the day is, "Let your love be like the misty rain, coming softly but flooding the river." Thank you all for sharing this safe, compassionate space with me. I also want to express my gratitude for all of you being your most emotional, vulnerable, and imperfect selves. I also would like to admonish all of you to subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform that you use. Follow us on Instagram. Send us a DM on Instagram. Let us know how you feel about the show. And also hit up the email, poeticsemantic7@gmail.com. And we encourage a testimonial, questions, general feedback. Let us know if this is working for you. I can't wait to have another conversation with all of you, and I cannot wait to share another intimate, loving, and compassionate space where we can be our true selves and not worry about perfection or comparison. I can't wait to talk to you all on the next episode. Stay beautiful, stay peaceful, stay healthy, and be prosperous.